Well, hello again and welcome to yet another Digimon TCG Battle Royale. After the clusterfuck that was the last match, with 6 players participating, we're kicking it down a notch with only 4 players participating this time. And also we have slightly better lighting now, so there won't be as much glare. But anyway, let's introduce the players and their decks. We have the returning champion, Stanislav, and the blues is still strong with this one. He's piloting his Blue Evolution Sources strip deck yet again, and it's been slightly upgraded with the release of BT7. Let's see if it'll help him preserve his title. Next we have Vladislav, still on his green beatdown deck. He won't give up on it even after last time's thrashing. But he's tweaked the deck a little since then, so let's see if it'll help him win this time. Then we have Stanislav. He's on yellow again, but this time he plays a deck that focuses more on reducing the enemy's Digimon DP. And finally there's me, and I'm playing a Diaboromon deck. After all, I pulled 2 Diaboromons from EX1 and I have a couple from prior sets, plus couple playsets for the whole evolution line, so might as well try it out. And the players are set, so let's jump into the match. Looks like Vladislav is going first. He hatches a Pinamon, evolves it into Palmon from the green starter deck, and plays a Tentomon from the same starter deck, which on play reveals the top card of his deck. And it's a green Digimon card, the EX1 Palmon, so it goes to his hand. And like that he passes the turn over to Stanislav with 3 memory. Stanislav hatches a Pikmon, evolves it into the EX1 Salamon, then into Pidomon for 1 cost, and plays Patamon from the yellow starter deck from his hand, ending his turn and giving me 1 memory. I hatch a Tsumemon, evolve it into the EX1 Keramon, and I play the BT5 Keramon, with a non-play effect that reveals the top 5 cards of my deck, from which I can add 1 Digimon with unidentified in its type and 1 Arata Sanada to my hand. I reveal an Ultimate Flare, Catastrophe Cannon, BT5 Kurisarimon, Memory Tamer Easy Izumi, and another BT5 Keramon. I add the Keramon to my hand and put the rest at the bottom of my deck. And it's off to Stanislav, who starts his turn with 2 memory. He hatches a Kyaramon, then plays the 2-cost Medishida from the blue starter deck, and it seems like his hand isn't looking that good, because he just plays a Paildramon and passes it over to Vladislav with 5 memory. Vladislav keeps his Palmon in the raising area and evolves it into Stingmon for 1 cost. Next he evolves his Stingmon into Entmon for 3 memory, and plays the EX1 Palmon he added to his hand the previous turn for 3 memory, giving Stanislav 2 memory to start his turn with. Stanislav moves his Pidomon into the battle area, evolves his Patamon into the BT3 Gatomon for 2 memory, and then plays Starmon from his hand for 3 memory, and he uses Starmon's on play effect to reduce the DP of Vladislav's Tentomon by 1000 for every Digimon Stanislav has. He currently has 3 Digimon, so he reduces Tentomon's DP to 0, thereby deleting it. And it's over to me with 3 memory. I moved the Keramon from my raising area to the battle area. I evolve him into the BT5 Kurisarimon, and I use his when Digivolving effect. Since I don't have an Arata Sanada in play, I can play 1 from my hand without paying its memory cost. Following that, I attack Vladislav with the BT5 Keramon. I know he has a lot of strong Digimon, and I want Keramon in my trash so I can gain memory from Arata each turn, but unfortunately I only hit Palmon, who has 1000 DP, so my Keramon survives. Then I play another Arata from my hand and pass it over to Stanislav with 2 memory, but since we have Digimon with no Digivolution sources, his mat gives him an additional memory, so he starts with 3 memory. And it looks like he drew a rookie since he evolves his Kyaramon into Bluecommon, and he also evolves his Paildramon into Wingdramon. And he finishes his turn by playing Sora and Joe, giving Vladislav 4 memory. Vladislav moves his Entmon to the battle area and attacks the blue Stanislav with Palmon. He chooses not to block with his Wingdramon and reveals Howling Memory Boost in his security. Vladislav then plays another Palmon from the green starter deck for 3 memory and evolves it into Stingmon for 1 memory. Next he attacks the yellow Stanislav, who also doesn't block with his Pidomon because then Entmon would just unsuspend, and he checks Magna Angemon in his security, which is weaker than Entmon, so Entmon survives. Finally, Vladislav evolves his Stingmon into Dino Beamon, and Stanislav starts his turn with 3 memory. He hatches another Pikmin, evolves it into Labramon, and plays another Starmon from his hand. He uses his own play effect to reduce the DP of Dino Beamon by 4000 since he has 4 Digimon in play, and he finishes his turn by playing Spiral Masquerade. It allows him to give minus 3000 DP to an opponent's Digimon for every Digimon he controls, so he uses the effect once on Dino Beamon and 3 times on Entmon, reducing their DP to 0 and deleting them. And with Patamon's inherited effect, since an opponent's Digimon's DP was reduced to 0, he gains 1 memory, so I start my turn with 3 memory. I hatch another Tsumemon, evolve it into Toy Agumon that gives Reboot, and I evolve Kurisarimon into the BT2 Infermon. Then I try attacking with Keramon again, this time the blue Stanislav. He again chooses not to block and reveals a Gizamon in his security, which has the same DP as Keramon, so Keramon is deleted. And to finish my turn, I evolve Toy Agumon into another BT5 Kurisarimon and pass it over to Stanislav with 2 memory, but he gains 1 memory from Matt and 2 more memory from Sora and Joe since we have a Digimon with no Digivolution sources. He moves his Glucomon into the battle area and evolves it into Cordramon. Next he evolves Cordramon into Majiramon, which removes Kurisarimon from my Infermon's evolution sources, and he triggers his Kyaramon's inherited effect to draw a card and Glucomons to gain 1 memory. And finally he plays a Gomamon from his hand for the reduced cost of 1 memory and evolves it into Coelamon for another 1 memory, passing the turn over to Vladislav. He hatches another Pinamon, evolves it into Wormmon, then he remembers to unsuspend his Palmon, and he evolves his Wormmon into Togemon from the green starter deck, passing it over to Stanislav with 1 memory. Stanislav moves his Labramon into the battle area, which is getting kinda crowded, and he ends his turn by playing the BT4 Taikamiya, giving me 2 memory. However, since I have 2 Arata Sanada in play and a Digimon with unidentified in its type in my trash, I gain 2 additional memory at the start of my turn. I leave my Kurisarimon in the raising area and evolve it into another BT2 Infermon. Next I attack the yellow Stanislav with my Infermon and he chooses not to block and reveals Starmon in his security. I end my turn by playing another BT5 Keramon, revealing from the top of my deck a BT2 Kurisarimon, a Chumon, the EX1 Diaboromon, the EX1 Kurisarimon, and another BT5 Keramon. I of course add the Diaboromon to my hand, return the rest to the bottom of my deck, and Stanislav gains a bunch of memory because of his Tamers. He hatches another Kyaramon, evolves it into Glucomon, then evolves his Coelamon into a Chris Spelgramon, which removes 1 evolution source at the bottom of every opponent's Digimon. So he gets to trigger his Kyaramon's and Glucomon's inherited effects again, drawing a card and gaining 1 memory. He then plays the BT1 Gabumon, which draws him a card, and finishes his turn by playing the memory tamer Mate Shida, giving Vladislav 4 memory. Vladislav moves his Togemon to the battle area, plays another Tentomon from the green starter deck, revealing from the top of his deck Entmon, so he goes to his hand. Then he plays Hidden Potential discovered. He suspends his Tentomon and evolves his Togemon into the Entmon he just added to his hand for free. Next he attacks my security with his Palmon. I reveal the BT5 Infermon in my security, so his Palmon is deleted, but he has a non-deletion effect which allows him to suspend an opponent's Digimon with 5000 or less DP, and he suspends the yellow Stanislav Speedomon. He then attacks Speedomon with his Entmon, which deletes Speedomon, so Entmon unsuspends, and since he attacked an opponent's Digimon, he gets to draw a card because of Pinamon's inherited effect. For his final target he picks my Infermon, and then evolves his Tentomon into a Kabuterimon, and Cherrymon, which are blockers, but unfortunately they stay suspended, so no blocking for him. So now it's Stanislav's turn and he hatches another Pikmin. Then he evolves one of his Starmon into another Gatomon. And he attacks Vladislav's security with his Labramon. Vladislav checks a Kabuterimon, so Labramon is deleted. And Stanislav keeps attacking Vladislav with his Gatomon this time, revealing a Kenichi Joji, which gets played for free. Next he attacks Vladislav again with Starmon, this time revealing a Togemon, so Starmon is deleted. And finally he attacks him with his last Gatomon, revealing a Flower Cannon, which suspends all Digimon on the field without blockers. And to finish things off, Stanislav plays a BT1 Angemon, reducing my Keramon's DP by 3000, which deletes him, and Stanislav suspends his tie to gain back 1 memory, so I start my turn with 4 memory, but my 2 Aratas give me 2 additional memory at the start of my turn. I move my Infermon to the battle area, and I evolve it into the EX1 Diaboromon I added to my hand the previous turn. Then I trigger both of my Aratas, suspending them to play 2 Diaboromon tokens. Then I go in for the attack, targeting the blue Stanislav's Majiramon, and because of Tsumemon's inherited effect, I get to draw a card. Stanislav blocks my attack with his Wingdramon, and since my Diaboromon has more DP, Wingdramon is deleted. Then I delete one of my Diaboromon tokens to play Armageddemon from my hand for only 3 memory. And since he has Rush, I attack Majiramon with him. This time Stanislav has no blockers, so Majiramon is deleted. And then, just because I can, I attack his Gabumon with my Diaboromon token, since it also has Rush because of Kurisarimon's inherited effect. Next I just play a Chikurimon from my hand and pass it over to Stanislav, who again gets a bunch of memory from his tamers. And at the start of his turn, since my Diaboromon has reboot because of Toy Agumon, he unsuspends during Stanislav's unsuspend phase. Stanislav moves his Glucomon to the battle area and plays a Radon Star, targeting my Diaboromon. Since I have 3 or more Digimon, he goes to the bottom of my deck. Next he evolves his Crisp Paildramon into his boss monster, Azulongmon, removing the bottom evolution source from all of his opponent's Digimon and gaining 1 memory for every Digimon that has no evolution sources. So he basically evolves him for free, and he gets to draw a card and gain a memory because of his Kyaramon's and Glucomon's inherited effects. And since he really didn't like me attacking him that much the last turn, he goes for my security, with security attack plus everything. I reveal an Easy Izumi, which gets played for free and activates his effect, revealing 3 cards from the top of my deck, which are Ultimate Flare and 2 BT5 Diaboromons. I return them in the same order and continue the security check, revealing an EX1 Keramon, another Arata Sanada which gets played for free, and a Catastrophe Cannon, which de-digivolves Azulongmon by 2 stages. And since technically my token is a Diaboromon, I gain another token. But unfortunately, it came too late. Stanislav attacks me directly with Glucomon and so eliminates me from the game. But that isn't enough for him. He evolves his 2-cost Matishida into a Kumamon, which trashes an evolution source from Vladislav's Cherrymon, and then attacks Vladislav with his Kumamon directly, and so eliminates him from the game as well. And now only the Stanislavs remain. But before we continue the match, all these playing cards can make a man hungry, so we decide to grab a bite to eat. So you know what that means.
Pizza time.
But not just any pizza, we'll be making our own homemade pizza. That was refreshing. But now we're back to the match and made the best Stanislav win. Continuing where we took off, Stanislav played a Grizzlymon and passed the turn over to Stanislav with 5 memory. Stanislav hatched a Pikmon and evolved it into Labramon. He eventually remembered to unsuspend his Digimon, but not his tamer. He'll stay suspended for a while yet. Next he evolves his Angemon into War Growlmon, then his Labramon into yet another Gatomon. And now he remembers to unsuspend his tamer because he plays a Spiral Masquerade, which drops Grizzlymon and Blucomon to 0 DP, deleting them, and he suspends Tai to gain back 1 memory. But Stanislav still starts his turn with 5 memory because of his Matt and Sora and Joe. He hatches a Kiaramon, evolves it into another Blucomon, and then Vladislav moves his Rosemon into the frame because he really wanted you to see it. Anyway, Stanislav evolves his Blucomon into Paildramon. Rosemon takes off, unfortunately, and Stanislav plays another Sora and Joe, giving Stanislav 1 memory. Stanislav moves his Gatomon into the battle area, and evolves his War Growlmon into Dynasmon, but he doesn't trigger his when Digivolving effect. And Stanislav starts his turn with 7 memory. He moves Paildramon to the battle area and plays a Radon Star, which sends Dynasmon to the bottom of the deck. Next he evolves Paildramon into Chris Paildramon, removing an evolution source from Stanislav's Gatomon, which triggers his Kiaramon and Blucomon, drawing a card and gaining a memory, so it's still his turn. He attacks Stanislav's security with Kumamon, revealing a Patamon, so Kumamon survives. Next he attacks with Chris Paildramon, revealing a War Growlmon, which has the same DP as Chris Paildramon, so he is deleted. Stanislav then activates the delay effect of his Howling Memory boost. He gains 2 memory and plays the EX1 Gomamon from his hand, which removes the last evolution source below Gatomon and passes the turn over to Stanislav with 1 memory. Stanislav hatches a Tokomon, evolves it into the starter deck Padamon, then attacks Stanislav's Kumamon with his Gatomon, which is now boosted by Tai, but they have the same DP, so they're both deleted. Finally, he plays another BT1 Angemon, reducing Gomamon's DP to 0, deleting it, and suspending Tai to gain back 1 memory, but Stanislav still starts his turn with 7 memory thanks to Sora and Joe. He evolves his Coelamon into Chris Paildramon, then into Plesiomon. He attacks Stanislav's security with Plesiomon and reveals a Lord Nightmon, and since they both have the same DP, Plesiomon is deleted. Stanislav then evolves his Kiaramon into Gomamon and plays a Howling Memory boost. He has no evolution materials to remove with it, but he can target Angemon to not be able to attack or block until the end of his opponent's next turn. So now it's back to Stanislav with 2 memory. He moves Patamon to the battle area and attacks with Gatomon, revealing a Vikemon in the security, so Gatomon is deleted. He attacks with his other Gatomon, revealing a Kaiser Nail, but there are no targets for its effect, so it fizzles. He evolves Patamon into Pidomon and plays the memory tamer TK Takaishi. He goes to recover his security with TK's effect, but then he remembers he has to add a card from his security to his hand before he can do that, so it won't work this time. And it's back to Stanislav with 7 memory again. He moves his Gomamon to the battle area, evolves it into Coelamon for 1 memory, and then plays Grizzlymon, giving Stanislav his 3 memory and passing his turn. Stanislav hatches Pikmon, evolves it into Labramon, then into his final Gatomon, and finally he plays Eden's Javelin. He draws a card, and he has enough cards in his hand to reduce the DP of Grizzlymon to 0 and delete it. He suspends his tie to gain back 1 memory, but Stanislav still starts his turn with 8 memory thanks to Sora and Joe. Stanislav evolves his Coelamon into Magiramon, which trashes Patamon from Pidomon's evolution sources. After which he evolves his Magiramon into Vikemon for 4 memory. He attacks Stanislav directly with Vikemon and triggers Sora and Joe, suspending them to remove the last evolution source from Pidomon. And now, since all of Stanislav's Digimon have no evolution sources, Magiramon's inherited effects unsuspends Vikemon. Stanislav of course blocks the attack with Pidomon, but Stanislav can attack with Vikemon again, and now since Stanislav has no blockers, the attack goes through and Stanislav becomes the first ever 2x champion of the Digimon TCG Battle Royale. Congratulations, Stanislav. Man, not gonna lie, this blue deck seems kinda OP. Anyway, please look forward to the next match, where we'll see if Stanislav will continue his win streak or if he'll pass on his title to someone else. Until then, bye! So Vladislav, ready for a facing review?
No.
Come on man,
It's too early.
I need some female audience.
You need some audience.